Hey, what's good with the YouTube? It's your boy Rojo, and this is the Rojo Room, man. Today we're going to talk about the thing that was going on down in Salinas with the so-called murder squad, and found an interesting breakdown of exactly what they were charged, alleged, conspired to do. So we're going to get right to it, man. This is from the Monterey County Weekly. Listen to how this starts off. They hunted as a coordinated pack. A murderous caravan of young Norteño gang members acting under the direction of the Nuestra Familia prison gang and intent on wiping out rival Sereno gangsters, encroaching on their territory and taking a chunk of drug sales they claim were rightfully theirs. They sprayed bullets seemingly indiscriminately, emptying entire magazines into their victims as they shot from their cars, with shooters being directed via cell phone by spotters riding in other vehicles. For nearly 2 years, the killings went on. 8 victims in all were gunned down around Salinas and surrounding communities, and several others were wounded by gunfire. But of those victims, according to a federal indictment unsealed today, October 22nd, only one was an actual rival gang member. The rest, authorities say, were regular people who had the misfortune of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, targeted based on nothing more than superficial commonalities such as the color of their skin or clothing. In a press conference Thursday morning at the Police Service of Salinas building, David Anderson, the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of California, announced the arrest of 6 members of the so-called Norteño Murder Squad and how they orchestrated 7 shootings and killed 8 while injuring several others with the indiscriminate shooting. The intent of forming the squad, he says, may have started out as a way of reclaiming the gang's territory and stronghold over narcotic sales, but it quickly became a way for the alleged shooters to gain status within the gang. The shooters, he said, could enhance their status within the squad, even if the victims weren't gang members. In each shooting, Anderson adds, the violence was extreme because entire magazines were emptied with between 15 and 35 bullets aimed at their intended targets, but sometimes missing the mark. Flanked by Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent in Charge Tatum King, Monterey County District Attorney Jeannie Passioni, and Salinas Police Sergeant Chris Lane, and detectives Byron Ganson and Gabriela Contreras, Anderson says the indictment describes how the squad used the multi-vehicle caravan technique to spot victims and avoid law enforcement detection. The squad, according to the indictment, identified victims by characteristics they associated with Sureños, Latino males, people with shaved heads, and people dressed in blue. Some shooters, according to the indictment, tried to confirm a target's gang status, but didn't necessarily wait for an answer before opening fire. The defendants are being prosecuted under the RICO, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization statute, because their alleged crimes were done to benefit a criminal street gang. Arrested were Siaki Tavale, 24, aka Shocky or Gunner, Andrew Alvarado, 29, aka Oso or Banger, John Magat, 33, aka Romeo, Anthony Valdez, aka Hitter, or Tony Baranda, Mark Anthony Garcia, aka Tony from Santa Rita, and Anilu Tavale, aka Angel. If convicted of all charges, which include racketeering, conspiracy, murder, and aid of racketeering, murder, and weapons counts, Tavale, Alvarado, Magat, and Valdez could face the death penalty, which is back in use in the federal system. Garcia and Tavale, meanwhile, faced life. The indictment describes 7 hunts that took place between January of 17 and November of 18. The federal authorities declined to release the name of all the victims. Some of the names have been previously released by the Salinas Police Department. On January 12, 2017, it is alleged that Siaki, Tavale, Alvarado, Garcia, and others went hunting for rival gang members to kill, leading them to the Sunrise Street where a group of Latino men were standing outside a house party. 4 men were shot and 2 were killed, and there's no evidence any of the victims were gang members. A high-speed chase between the shooters and Salinas PD ensued, and after the shooting, the alleged shooter's vehicle crashed and they escaped on foot. The murder victims were later identified as Salinas Police as 27-year-old Jose Luis Flores Vargas and 25-year-old Alejandro Ramirez. On February 11, 2017, Tavale, Alvarado, and others allegedly headed on a hunt and encountered a group of men outside the Hebron Heights Community Center. The shooters fired 18 bullets at the men, striking one victim in the head and killing him. According to the indictment, the shooters were driving a stolen SUV they had doused in gasoline in case they decided they had to set it on fire. A day later, on February 12th, Siaki, Tavali, Alvarado, another Tavali, and others allegedly riding in the same SUV came upon two men riding in another vehicle. They followed the men to a home on Orchard Avenue. As the victim's vehicle pulled into the driveway, they opened fire, spraying at least 20. The victim was struck in the neck, torso, and upper back, but survived. Lucky individual right there. On March 25th to 17, Alvarado, Magat, Garcia, and others allegedly organized the hunt as retaliation for the recent killing of a fellow norteño. When driving on Dennis Avenue, they came across two men standing in the driveway of a home. They opened fire, shooting 32 bullets. One man died in the driveway, while the other was chased into a backyard and killed. Neither victim, authorities say, was involved in gangs. One of the victims was identified by Salinas police as Fidencio Torres Vega, 31, while the other victim was identified as his cousin. His name was not immediately available. On May 3rd of 17, Alvarado, Magat, and others hunted on Paloma Avenue, where they saw a man standing on a porch. They opened fire, firing at least 15 times, striking the man in the head and killing him. Again, there was no evidence the victim was involved in gangs. June 11, 2018, after an unexplained year plus of no activity, Magat, Valdez, Tavali, and others went hunting and came across a man walking down Center Street. Allegedly, they fired at him 19 times, killing him. There was no evidence the man was involved in a gang. Salinas police identified the victim as 45-year-old Sergio Carcamo. November 3rd of 18, Valdez, Tavali, and others went hunting, this time allegedly to commemorate the birthday of a deceased gang member. The shooter spotted a man walking on North Hebron Avenue and fired at least 35 bullets at him. He was shot in the head and killed again. There was no evidence he was involved in a gang. Salinas police identified the victim as Felix Francisco, age 43. The more bodies that accumulated, the more status in the gang the shooters received. Damn, them dudes weren't playing around. I don't know about all the lack of evidence that somebody was or was not in a gang. I mean, I don't see why they would say, that they weren't or they were if either case wasn't true. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I also don't see, Northerners, especially in Salinas, with that type of level of education, indiscriminately shooting at people they can't confirm are enemies. Not only is that bad for business, it's just not typical behavior from that particular group. At no time does any group want to involve innocent bystanders or victims, whether they be north, south, whatever, that's frowned upon as being, as just being in the lifestyle. Being in the lifestyle, you focus, on yours, and in the opposition, you don't focus on non-combatants. It's just not, neither sides of the big homies do that, man. So, I don't really know what to think about that, but hey, dudes are putting in work, man. And I don't even know what to say. That's a crazy story. I've read like 10, 12, 15 articles about it, but they've never broke down each particular thing and the amount of rounds, et cetera, et cetera. But can't even put a lesson on stay out of gangs because they say some of these people weren't even in gangs. I don't know. Anyway, a little bit about the Salinas Murder Squad. It's your boy Rojo. This is the Rojo Room. Have a great day.